Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the Pikeville Community Foundation's Food Insecurity Grant helps nonprofits with extra funds, but some of those nonprofits are seeing less donations due to the rising cost of living. And what choice will the Kentucky Supreme Court make when it comes to school choice? How that decision could impact you, coming up.
Plus, soggy and at times stormy weather in the mountains tonight. The breakdown on when things dry out again coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. One community in Pike County is working with and supporting nonprofits to fight food insecurity. As WYMT's Jordan Mullins reports, the Pikeville Community Foundation has open applications for a grant geared for nonprofit food programs.
Applications for the Pikeville Community Foundation's Food Insecurity Grant opened on Tuesday, which awards nonprofits in Pike County with feeding programs extra funds to feed folks in need.
There's been a great need for food programs. We have organizations that work together. They take turns different days with feeding programs just to make sure that everybody who needs help can get help on a daily basis.
One of several nonprofits in the area who have previously received the grant is the Grace Community Kitchen, whose executive director, Debbie Bailey, says she plans to apply again.
I am definitely going to be applying for that grant. I've got the email, and I am definitely going to be applying. We've been fortunate to receive that grant for the past 2 years. As I said, it is a blessing. We are very thankful for their support and what they do.
Bailey adds that the grant comes at the perfect time. With the cost of living going up, she has noticed donations and blessing boxes have continued to decline.
People would come by, they would drop off things, and we have just seen a decline in that. And I think that has been attributed to just a high cost of living for everyone, and people just can't afford to give like they used to.
A community working together to support each other.
It means a lot that we can offer this support. It's one of our foundational missions is to help the health of people in this area.
Fighting hunger and helping those in need. In Pikeville, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Bailey adds you can also stop by the Grace Community Kitchen on Mondays and Thursdays to grab a hot meal if you are in need or to drop off donations. Businesses were forced to close their doors today because of a boil water advisory in Mount Sterling. Officials with Mount Sterling Water and Sewer say it's in place because of a maintenance issue. It comes just days ahead of this weekend's Court Day, the state's oldest festival. Restaurant owners and vendors line the downtown area every October, bringing in much needed business. George Romero opened his restaurant Romero's in August. He says being such a small family-owned business, they really had no choice but to close for the day.
Guidelines that are in place to protect people in a situation like this are really easy for corporate places to do. For small family-owned and operated places, it's a little bit more of a scramble. So, you know, it's not impossible. But again, you know, I have to think about the health and well-being of everybody who works with us. I have to think about the health and well-being of the community, and I have to think about all of that stuff.
Right now, the boil water advisory is in effect until at least noon tomorrow. Officials say samples were sent to Lexington today. They hope to have the results by the end of the day tomorrow.
Well, the good news, all warnings are expired. We're not expecting any watches issued throughout the region, but still some showers pushing into the region. We had a few thunderstorms earlier, but we're back to just showers right now, mainly in the Cumberland Valley, from London down to Corbin, over to Williamsburg, and further back out to the west. These storms were once severe. They have really fallen apart since then. Around the region, we continue to see everything moving from southwest to northeast, but look on to the south and west. A hefty line of thunderstorms pushing through the Nashville metro area, where at least once tornado warned as it moved through downtown Nashville. You can see the bow echoes in that line, likely some strong winds moving through Middle Tennessee at this hour. I don't think we're watching out for much of that, but the possibility will be there for more showers and storms as we head through the evening. We've gotten warm out there in places that haven't seen the rain, low to mid 70s temperatures right now. And as we head through the region, you see plenty of cloud cover as those clouds working in. 74 now London as they get closer to some rain. South-southwest winds too at 16. So it is a bit on the breezy side. For tonight, down into the 50s. Showers and storms with us as we run through tonight. The details coming up on what we could see through the rest of the night and when we see some much cooler air move in. That's coming up in a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thanks. The state Supreme Court met in Shelby County today as part of a plan to let the public see more of their process. Today they heard arguments about school choice. Attorneys arguing if using tax credits for school choice is constitutional. Numerous people wearing yellow scarves filed into the convention center to hear the arguments before the justices. They are in favor of school choice, saying parents need the option to let their kids attend other public or even private schools through the tax credit program. Others argue that allowing businesses and individuals to receive tax credits for funding education opportunity accounts will take money away from public schools, placing the financial burden squarely on the state of Kentucky.
It's really important for parents. I get calls every week, parents asking when is this program going to be available for our kids, and hopefully that answer is soon.
Public tax dollars should be spent on public goods, and public education is a focus of one of those public goods that helps everyone.
There's also been the argument that this law offers a geographic advantage to those in larger cities because it does not include the entire state. School choice proponents say this is only a pilot project and will eventually include the whole state. The U.S. Supreme Court talked about art today. The justices hearing a high-stakes case about the artist Andy Warhol and whether he illegally copied another artist's work. CBS's Michael George reports on what's at stake.
They're among Andy Warhol's most iconic portraits, the silkscreen images of Prince. When the musician died in 2016, Vanity Fair put one of them on its cover. The image was based on a 1981 photograph by Lynn Goldsmith. She sued Warhol's foundation, claiming copyright infringement.
What is the reason or justification to take another's copyrighted work? The reason can't be to avoid paying the customary price.
The foundation argues the use of Goldsmith's photo was legal because Warhol's changes to it were transformative, a point Justice Samuel Alito said can lead to a lot of dispute.
If you called Andy Warhol as a witness, what would he say was the purpose of his, the message or meaning of his
I wish I could answer that question. He's not with us, as you know, Your Honor.
I know.
A district court ruled in 2019 in favor of Warhol, saying the works were protected from copyright claims because they convey a different meaning from the original. But an appeals court reversed that decision, saying judges aren't art critics. If the Supreme Court agrees, law professor Paul Shinall says it could throw a chill over the art world.
And what's at risk here is the ability to take a pre-existing work, especially if it's a visual work, and build upon it.
The justices did find some lighter moments when Clarence Thomas revealed his musical tastes.
Let's say that I'm both a Prince fan, which I was in the 80s, and...
No longer.
But it's serious business. If it loses its case, the Warhol Foundation could owe Goldsmith millions in fees and royalties. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Abortion is a key motivator for U.S. voters in the upcoming midterm elections. A new survey finds about half of registered voters in the U.S. say they are more motivated to vote than they were in previous elections. Abortion is on the ballot for at least 4 states, including Kentucky. Legislators have proposed an amendment that would not allow state protection to the right to an abortion. Nearly 9 out of 10 voters say that a candidate's positions on issues they care about is a major factor in making a decision. The economy is the top issue for Republicans, abortion the top issue for Democrats. A federal judge denied former President Donald Trump's request to pause a deposition, which is scheduled for October 19th. Columnist E. Jean Carroll sued Trump in 2019 after he denied raping her in the mid-1990s and accused her of fabricating the claim to boost book sales. Trump has denied all allegations against him. Trump and the Justice Department have also argued since he was president when he made those statements, the DOJ should be substituted as the defendant. If the D.C. Court of Appeals agrees, this would end Carroll's lawsuit because the government cannot be sued for defamation. We have an update on former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan, who the U.S. says has been wrongfully detained in Russia for nearly 4 years. Whelan was able to call his parents Wednesday for only the second time in nearly a month. That's according to his brother David. He said Paul was moved to a prison hospital on September 15th for an unknown reason, and Paul is not sure why he is there. Whelan was convicted on espionage charges in 2018 and sentenced in June 2020 to 16 years in prison. U.S. officials denounced the trial as unfair. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, it's a new hack on old school tech that could lead to scammers stealing your money. We'll tell you how to avoid the con artist call.
Plus, showers continue as we head through tonight and early tomorrow as our cold front moves through. The latest on what's behind that, straight ahead.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized